I have got a fallow shoulder today that I'm going to cut up for wet sealing, for vacuum sealing to wet age, and then we'll probably use it in a curry or a casserole or something like that. But one of the really important things that I wanted to try and show you guys was how I get the glands out. So there's a little gland in each of the shoulders. There's also one in the back legs, but I don't have back legs at the moment because we cut those up quickly last night. So the next time we get a deer, I'll try and do a video showing you guys how you do it in the back legs as well. But yeah, so I've got the camera set up with a view on the meat, and hopefully it's close enough for you guys to see. So I might swap there and zoom it in. If it's not, we'll see how we go. Anyway, so we've got our leg here. This is from a little doe that James shot earlier this month. It was just a meat animal, so it's pretty small. I might actually grab, just to compare. So this is a stag leg, also from a fallow deer. They're both from fallow deer. So that's to compare. You've got your doe there and your stag there. So there's a bit of size difference. We'll see how we go with showing you on both of them. So most of the glands run alongside a big artery or vein. So look for that and you should be able to find it. But if you follow along the leg, and if you imagine this to be kind of like human anatomy, this is kind of your elbow of your deer, and this up here is like your shoulder, the top of your shoulder. So the gland is closer to the top of the shoulder rather than the elbow. So that shoulder joint is the one that you want to look for. And there's a layer of meat here that you should be able to peel up and peel away, and you'll start to see in there where the vein is. Hope you guys can see that on the camera. You want to remove the glands in your deer because that is what will give your meat a really gamey flavour that people often complain about. So don't worry if you cut through the meat here, because this is all going to be for slow cooking anyway. Let's just carefully cut through there and open it up, and it'll be in like a big piece of fat. They're a strange kind of greyish colour. And it'll be up in this big chunk of fat here. Now that I've moved all that away, I'll cut through this vein. Just stick in close to the bone and remove that whole piece. You'll be pretty safe. And you shouldn't cut through the actual gland itself. So this here is the bit that you want to remove, and on a doe the gland is going to be really small, so it's just in there. It's going to be hard to make out. I'll show you guys again on the stag. You see how I've just removed around this knuckle here, you can feel that that's a bone there. Around that knuckle, that's where I've removed like a little patch of fat that was sitting in there with the vein as well. So that's the piece that you end up with that you want to remove out, that's got the gland inside of it. So like I said, if you just stick in close to this bone with your knife and peel it up and out, you'll get it without actually cutting through the gland and ending up with that real gamey flavour all over your meat. And then after that, it's really just a matter of peeling off the meat along the muscle groups as you go. With the shoulder. So that's perfectly good meat. Shoulders are really good for slow cooking because they've got a lot of sinew and stuff in them, which keeps the meat quite moist actually when you're slow cooking your deer. Back here, I'm just following along this elbow. It's really hard to do from that angle now. And then coming up underneath this bone as well. The shoulder's pretty much just like one big flat piece of bone. And you just want to run your knife flat along it to get all of the meat off it without blunting the heck out of the tip of your knife. it out as well. From the elbow, that off to the side. One benefit with the shoulder is that you really can't stuff it up because you're only going to end up slow cooking it or something unless you take it and roast the whole thing. But because it's such a thin piece of meat, even on a big stag, I'd probably save the rump for roasting rather than a shoulder. We always get all the meat off our shoulders and then either mince it up or slow cook it. And that's like the little, I suppose you'd call it a shank, off the front. So that's your whole bone of your shoulder, all in one piece, and you can break that down and give it to the dogs. Or you can actually put that, you can roast that on an oven tray and then use it to make a bone broth as well, which we might try that out and put a recipe up on I Am Hunter for that as well, showing you guys how we do it. I haven't actually done it before, but I've seen a few people do it and it looks pretty good, so we might try that as well. But yeah, otherwise you can just give it to the dogs, throw it away if you don't have dogs, I suppose. And that is your shoulder meat. So we'll bag that up. I'll just pull off any hair that you get. It's the deer's hair, not mine. Yeah, I will bone out these stag ones as well, and then we will get them all wet sealed together or vacuum sealed together and then put them in the fridge. And we'll leave them in the fridge for about 7 days before we then stick them in the freezer. Okay, so now I've got the stag leg and I'm gonna do the same thing. Now I can see here, I can show you guys, this is exactly what the gland looks like. So I hope that's in focus there. But that little, you can see where you've got your fat that's really white and then you've got that bit of a discoloration. That little grey thing there, that is a gland. So that is what you're looking for to remove. So I'll cut that out right now. Put that off to the side, and then we'll go in and try and find this one in with the vein. My top piece there, put that to the side. Now I reckon we're going to find another gland in here. So I'm going to be careful where I'm cutting in there. Right now I might take the top of this off instead. Probably got butchers that watch this that are wondering what the heck this girl is up to. I am certainly no trained professional. I'm just showing you guys how we do things. I've literally just learned by practice. Yeah. Get in there, give it a go, see what happens. Even if you screw it up at the end of the day, you can just chuck it in a casserole or a stew or mince it up. And it's really not going to make a big difference. So don't be afraid to get in there and give it a go. Just be careful when you have got sharp knives around your fingers. It's probably the only Really super important advice that I could give you. And the more practice you get, the more you'll learn where the bones are, where everything changes. Like this bone here. I know that it's got this little annoying sticky uppy bit that I'm sure has a technical name. And the same in the rump, right where there's like a butt bone that you've got to come kind of up, back out towards yourself and then around to get a rump boned out as well. And that stuff you just learn it by doing it, I suppose. It's nothing super fancy, it's just practice. Cut through here. Make this a bit easier. You don't have to get it all off in one piece like some super fancy butcher. If you get it off in pieces as you go, that's just as good as well. It's an awkward angle. Give it a quick once over. I'm gonna cut this bit out here. Oh, I might leave it. There's a gland there that I've just cut through. So that is what it looks like there. They often are in these big chunks of white fat. That's okay. What I'll do is cut it off here. And then what I'm going to do is put that off to the side and give my knife a wipe because my knife's gone through it. So I'm just going to give my knife a quick wipe before we keep going. That's that gland removed. Alright, back to our leg. So yeah, I'll give you guys a good look, I suppose. So that's it, you can see there. Oh, no you can't. That's it that you can see there, I think. Okay, hopefully that is in focus, if you can see that there. So this here is the gland, this little funny thing that runs all along there, so on a stag it'll be really big. But yeah, it's this funny coloured thing. Doesn't smell very good, doesn't taste very good, and if you can, get them taken out. If you do wet age your meat, it really shouldn't matter too much. If you leave a gland in there, by the time that you wet age it, cook it in a casserole or something like that, or a curry, it's not going to make a huge amount of difference, but it just isn't a very nice taste. If you're going to do steaks, or you want to do something that doesn't have a strong flavour, or if you don't have a vacuum sealer to wet age your meat either, it does make a bit of a difference to take those glands out. So just keep an eye out for them while you're cutting up your meat. Like I said, there's normally one in a shoulder, so this one had two, and I assume that's because of how we've cut it off the animal. Normally that second one that I took out first would have been left on the carcass, where it wasn't, because we must have just cut closer this time. But yeah, just keep an eye out for them. Like I said, they're often in these big white chunks of fat and near veins, because they carry like crap and hormones and stuff like that from the animals, just like they do in humans, and so they need to be close to veins to do that, to your blood flow. So look out where you can see big arteries or veins or big chunks of fat, other than like outside your rump. Like the outside of your rump's going to have like a whole lot of fat on it and stuff like that. That's not going to have any glands in it. But in joints and where there's seams of meat and stuff like that, if you find a big chunk of fat like that, just cut it out, because it will likely have a gland in it. that in a bowl. And you're good to go. You've got a boned out shoulder. Again, like I said with the dough, you can cut this up into pieces, roast it in a pan, and then use it for some bone stock. If you're not ready to do that yet, you could always stick it in the freezer in a bag and just put it in the freezer until you find out how to do that, or look up the tutorial that we're going to post that we'll put together. I'm not sure when we'll do that. We'll get around to it at some point. We have got a whole heap of bones and stuff like that in the freezer, but they often go to the dogs because we've got a few dogs running around. So once we get a good amount up, I'm pretty sure that you use a certain type of bone as well. I don't know, I'll have to have a look into it anyway. But I'll grab the other leg. The other leg that we've got, I'll grab it. The other shoulder that we had has got a little bit of damage to it, so it's looking a little bit worse for wear. It's seen better days, but I'll do the exact same thing with this one. Just slowly peel it out away from the bones. Follow the bones of the animal, and yeah, try and keep your knife as flat as you can against the bone so that you're not cutting down onto the bone and blunting your knife. But other than that, let us know if you have any questions. I hope that this was helpful. I hope that it was helpful showing you guys what those glands look like as well, just so that you can keep an eye out for them. Like I said, don't worry if you can't find them or if you cut through one. It's not the end of the world. Your meat's still going to be edible. It's not poisonous or anything like that. So it will be fine. But yeah, it just does give you a better end product if you can get those glands out and find them. And yeah, like I said, we will try and get together a video showing where they are in the hind legs as well when we get our next year, I suppose. So thanks for watching, guys. Make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel if you enjoy our content, and check out iamhunter.net as well for all of our other tutorials, videos, and the giveaways and membership prizes that we do for our members who support us to make content like this. Thanks, guys.